My name is Rami I'm 64 years old, graphic designer, living in Jerusalem, born in Jerusalem, seventh generation. And my story is a story of a journey. Uh, 39 years ago, I was a very young soldier fighting this horrible October 73 war across the Suez Canal with a company of 11 tanks. We finished this war with only 3 tanks, and I lost very good friends over there. And I came out a very angry and bitter young man with a determination to detach myself from any kind of commitment. The outcome of this experience was putting myself and my family into a bubble. Completely detached from the outside world, minding our own business and looking after our own interests. 15 years ago, on the 4th of September 1997, this bubble was blown up to millions of pieces by 2 Palestinian suicide bombers who blew themselves up in Ben Yehuda Street, which is in the center of Jerusalem, killing 5 people that day, including 3 little girls. And one of them was my 14 years old Smadar. During the 7 days of mourning, this little house of ours became a pilgrimage post. Thousands and thousands of people came in to offer respect, condolences. Because my daughter was the granddaughter of the late General Professor and member of Knesset, Mati Peled, who was one of the first Israelis that paved the way towards peace. About a year later, on some occasion, I met a big man who changed my life. His name was Yitzhak Frankenthal. He was a religious Jew with a kippah on his head. And he introduced himself. He told me about the Parent Circle, a group that he created after losing his son, Arik, kidnapped and murdered by Hamas in 1994. And this group, who was combined with the bereaved families, Israelis and Palestinians who lost their loved ones, still wanted peace and fought for peace. And when he did so, I remembered him as one of these thousands of people that came to my house during these 7 days of mourning, and I went crazy. I was so angry with him. I asked him, how could you step into someone's house who just lost a loved one and talk about peace? How dare you? And he was not insulted. He just invited me to come over and watch a meeting of this group of crazy people. And I reluctantly said, okay. I was a little bit curious, and I said, okay. I went to see. I was very detached and very cynical. I saw the Palestinian bereaved families coming down from the buses, coming towards me, shaking my hand for peace, hugging me, crying with me. And I was completely shocked. I was deeply moved. I still remember seeing an old Arab lady with this long black traditional dress. She had a picture of a 6-year-old kid on her chest, like my wife carried the name of our daughter on hers. It was the first time. I was 47 years old at the time. It was the first time ever in my life I've met Palestinians as human beings, not as terrorists, not as transparent people, not as workers in the streets, as human beings. People who carry the same burden that I carry, people who suffer exactly like myself. And I was so deeply moved, and it was a turning point from which I devote my life. To go everywhere possible and to tell to anyone who wants to listen and to those who will not listen. To convey this very basic, simple message which says we are not doomed. It is not our destiny to keep on killing each other. We can change it. We can break once and for all the endless cycle of violence. And the only way to do it is simply by talking to one another and respecting one another. Without it, it will not happen. And this is a journey. This is, for me, it's a journey. It's a 14 years old journey, still continuing towards discovering what was always hidden from me throughout my young years as a young Israeli. I was brainwashed. The other side was hidden from me, the culture, the language, the music, the food, everything. And I think that for people watching me, asking me what should we do, I will convey this message. I expect people not to look the other way when horrible things happen. I don't ask you to be pro-Israeli, and I don't ask you to be pro-Palestinian. I demand of you to be pro-peace, to be against injustice, to be for people and not for land, to be for values of dignity and respect, and not occupation and blood.